Hello friends, this is Rashmi Singh. Welcome to my channel Unraveling Science. Solutions for Life Processes, Class 10, Chapter 5, Part 1. Questions inside the chapter. Why is diffusion insufficient to meet the oxygen requirements of multicellular organisms like human? Unlike the unicellular organism, the multicellular organism have a complex body structure with specialized cells and tissues to perform various necessary functions of the body. Since these cells are not in direct contact with the surrounding environment, so simple diffusion cannot meet the oxygen requirement of all the cells. 2. What criteria do we use to decide whether something is alive? Any visible movement such as walking, breathing or growing is generally used to decide whether something is alive or not. However, a living organism can also have movements which are not visible to naked eyes. Therefore, the presence of life processes is the fundamental criteria that can be used to decide whether something is alive or not. What are outside raw materials used for by an organism? The outside raw materials used for maintenance and sustenance of life by an organism. The various outside raw materials used by an organism are food, water, and oxygen. What process would you consider essential for maintaining life? Life processes such as nutrition, respiration, transportation, excretion, etc. are essential for maintaining life. What are the difference between autotrophic and heterotrophic nutrition? So in autotrophic mode of nutrition, an organism makes or synthesizes its own food. In heterotrophic mode of nutrition, an organism cannot make or synthesize its own food. In autotrophic nutrition, organisms use simple inorganic materials like carbon dioxide, water and synthesize their food in the presence of sunlight. In heterotrophic nutrition, organisms cannot make their own food, so they depend on other organisms for their food. Chlorophyll is required for autotrophic nutrition. Chlorophyll is not required for heterotrophic nutrition. Example of autotrophic nutrition are all green plants and some algae. Example of heterotrophic nutrition are all the animals and most bacteria and fungi. Where do plants get each of the raw materials required for photosynthesis? The following raw materials are required for photosynthesis. Carbon dioxide. Plant get carbon dioxide from environment through stomata. Second is water. Plant absorb water from the soil through root and transport it to the leaves. Third, sunlight. Plant gets sunlight from the sun. Fourth is chlorophyll. It is present in chloroplast found in the green leaves and the green parts of the plant. What is the role of acid in our stomach? Role of acid in our stomach is first to maintain acidic medium which is necessary for the activation of pepsin enzyme. Second, to kill the harmful bacteria present in food. Third, to prevent fermentation of food. What is the function of digestive enzymes? Digestive enzymes such as amylase, lipase, pepsin, trypsin, etc. help in the breakdown of complex food particles into simpler ones. These simple particles can be easily be observed by the blood and are transported to all the cells of the body. How is the small intestine designed to absorb digestive food? As you can see in the picture, the small intestine has millions of tiny finger-like projections called villi These villi increase the surface area for more efficient food absorption. Within these villi, many blood vessels are present that absorb the digested food and carried it to the bloodstream. From the bloodstream, the absorbed food is delivered to each and every cell of the body. What advantage over an aquatic organism does a terrestrial organism have with regards to obtaining oxygen for respiration? Terrestrial organism takes up oxygen from atmosphere, whereas aquatic and animal obtain oxygen from water. Air contains more oxygen as compared to water. Since the content of oxygen in air is high, the terrestrial animals do not have to breathe fast to get more oxygen. Therefore, unlike aquatic animals, terrestrial animals do not need adaptation for gaseous exchange. What are the different ways in which glucose is oxidized to provide energy in various organisms? In the cytoplasm, glucose is first broken down into 3-carbon compound called pyruvate by the process known as glucolysis. Further breakdown takes place in different organisms by different process. So here you can see the 6-carbon compound glucose is converted into 3-carbon compound pyruvate in cytoplasm. Then the pyruvate is converted in the absence of oxygen into ethanol, carbon dioxide and energy in yeast. In the lack of oxygen, it is converted in lactic acid and energy in muscle cells, and in presence of oxygen, it is converted into carbon dioxide, water energy in mitochondria. How is oxygen and carbon dioxide transported in human beings? Oxygen and carbon dioxide are transported in human beings via bloodstream. Transport of oxygen. The respiratory pigment hemoglobin present in the red blood cells takes up the oxygen from the air to the lungs. They carry oxygen to tissues which are deficient in oxygen. Transport of carbon dioxide. Carbon dioxide is more soluble in water. Hence, it is mostly transported from the body tissue in the dissolved form in our blood plasma to lungs, where it diffuses from blood to air in the lungs and then expelled out through nostrils. How are the lungs designed in human beings to maximize the area for exchange of gases? Within the lungs, the air passage is divided into smaller and smaller tubules called bronchi, which turns into bronchioles. These bronchioles terminate into balloon-like structure called alveoli. As you can see here in the picture, the alveoli present in the lungs provide maximum surface area for exchange of gases. The alveoli have very thin walls and contain an extensive network of blood capillary vessels to facilitate exchange of gases. What are the components of the transport system in human beings? What are the functions of these components? The various components of the transport system in human beings consist of the following. First is heart. It acts as a pumping organ. Second, blood. It is transport medium. It is made up of a plasma. It carries food molecules, nitrogenous waste, salt, carbon dioxide, hormones, protein, etc. in the dissolved form. B is RBC. Consists of hemoglobin and transport oxygen. The C is WBC. Helps to fight infection. And D is platelets. Helps in the clotting of blood. Third is blood vessels. They are of two types: arteries, which carry oxygenated blood away from the heart to each and every cell of the body, and the second one is veins, which brings deoxygenated blood to heart for purification. Why is it necessary to separate oxygenated and deoxygenated blood in the mammal and birds? Separation of oxygenated and deoxygenated blood allows a good supply of oxygen to the body. The system is useful in animals that have high energy requirements. Mammals and birds constantly need oxygen to get energy to maintain their body temperature constant. What are the components of transport system in highly organized plants? In highly organized plant, there are two conducting tissues, xylem and phloem, as you can see here in the picture. Now xylem consists of vessels, tracheids and other xylem tissues. The interconnected vessels and tracheids form a continuous system of water conducting channels reaching all parts of the plant. Xylem carries water and minerals. Phloem conducts soluble products of photosynthesis from leaves to different parts of the plant body. How are water and minerals transported in plants? Water and minerals are transported in plants by xylem. The root of the plant have hair called root hairs. These root hairs absorb water and minerals from the soil since these are directly in contact with the film of water in between the soil particles. Water gets into the root hair by the process of diffusion. Water and mineral absorbed by the root hair pass from cell to cell by osmosis through the epidermis, root cortex, endodermis and reach the root xylem. The pressure at the top of the xylem vessel is lower due to the transpiration, whereas the pressure at the bottom of the xylem vessels remains high. Because of this, a suction pressure is created, as a result of which water is forced up in the xylem vessels. When the water reaches the leaf, it exits leaf by transpiration. How is food transported in plants? The movement of food in phloem or translocation takes place by utilizing energy. The sugar or the food made in leaves is loaded into the sieve tubes of phloem tissue by using energy from ATP. Water now enters the sieve tubes containing sugar by the process of osmosis, due to which pressure in the phloem tissue rises. The high pressure produced in the phloem tissue moves the food to all parts of the plant, having less pressure in their tissues. This allows the phloem to transport food according to the need of the plant. Describe the structure and the function of nephron. Nephrons are the basic filtering units of kidney. Each nephron possesses a large number of nephrons, approximately 1 to 1.5 millions. You can see the structure of nephron. The main component of nephron are glomerulus, Bowman's capsule and a long renal tubule. Functions of nephron. The blood enters the kidney through renal artery, which branches into many capillaries associated with the glomerulus. The water and the solute are transferred to the nephron at Bowman's capsule. In the proximal tubule, some substances such as amino acid, glucose and salts are selectively reabsorbed and unwanted molecules are added in the urine. The filtrate then moves down into the loop of Henle where more water is absorbed. From here, the filtrate moves upward in the distal tubule and finally to the collecting ducts. Collecting ducts collects urine from many nephrons. The urine formed in each kidney enters into the long tube called ureter. From ureter, it is transported to the urinary bladder and then to urethra. What are the methods used by the plant to get rid of excretory products? First method is plant produces carbon dioxide as waste during respiration and oxygen during photosynthesis. So gaseous exchange. Second, excess of water is removed through transpiration. And third, some waste products like gums and raisins are stored in the older xylem tissue. How is amount of urine produced regulated? The amount of urine produced depends on the amount of excess water and dissolved waste present in the body. Some other factors such as habitat of the organism and hormones such as antidiuretic hormone also regulates the amount of urine produced. Thanks for watching. Please do like, share and subscribe.